Yo, yo, yo. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream brand partnerships. Back at it with another live stream after a couple week hiatus. And we are going to be talking about something very, very juicy today. At least I think so. The title of today's live stream is Will Tariffs Crush Your Brand Deal Flow? So first and foremost, I am live streaming across YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, X, every platform you can think of. And I thought it would be timely to talk about this subject. We've got Sean from Cali BBQ Media tuning in live on Instagram. Diana Safova, Daniel Wall says, this is a great question. Curious about this. Good to see you here, Daniel. All right. Well, I guess my title got people in here. Love to see it. So as you know, these live streams that I do are for y'all. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about this topic in particular at the front end of the live stream, and then any questions that you have around just general brand deals, negotiations, partnerships, etc., pitching. I'll be so happy to answer those a little bit later in the live stream. So for now, make sure to drop it in the chat where you're tuning in from. Because I have been absent. It's clear. Usually I live stream every single week, but a couple weeks ago, I had my very first in-person event called Sponsor Games, which was absolutely mind-blowing. I probably need to do like a whole live stream or a whole video just on this topic because it was, guys, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of life-changing. To get all of these, people who also believe in, learning how to improve their pitching skills, negotiation skills, get all of these creators in one room. It was absolutely magical. I'll talk about it in a little bit, but truly it was, and that was really why I needed a little bit of R&R because it was a very, very intense experience. And then I was actually in the Cayman Islands last week with my family for spring break. So needed some. Man, guys, the last year has just been so crazy for me because, I released the book and then I did the event and it's just been like a whirlwind. So appreciate you giving me some grace for the live streams, but I'm here, I'm back. And real quickly, I did want to mention before we dive into today's topic, just wanted to quickly remind everyone that my brand new Wizards Mastermind enrollment is ending on Friday. So Molly, I actually see Molly here in the Instagram chat. Molly was the grand prize winner of Sponsor Games, if you could believe it. And she said, and it was awesome. And one of the things that Molly won, in addition to $5,000 cash grand prize, she also won one of the seats in my mastermind. So I'll talk about that a little bit later in the live stream as well. You can check it out, creatorwizard.com/mastermind. But let's get to today's topic at hand, which is, will tariffs crush brand deal flow? So there are a couple things that I want to talk about here. So first and foremost, I want to talk about how important it is in times of economic uncertainty, how important it is to pivot your positioning when you're reaching out to brands. So if you are maintaining the same old pitch, right? I would love, to collaborate with you, and you probably know my version of the bad pitch by now, so I won't do that song and dance. But imagine that you're a marketing manager. Imagine that you are running the marketing team for a brand. There's a lot of unknowns right now, right? And so a big part of how important it is when you're reaching out is to just okay, I'm about to reach out to this brand. I did my analysis and my research of what it seems like is important to them in their world, but what could change? What could change in the next 3 or 6 months to them so that I can, add into my pitch to show that I'm listening and I am reverent to the fact that things are kind of challenging for them right now. And so a big part of this is pivoting your positioning to show brands why working with you will be more efficient and or effective than traditional other methods like hiring production companies, agencies during economic uncertainty, right? And so a big part of this is like highlighting your ability to ideate and produce and just like you have an organic distribution channel all in one package, right? This is very similar to what happened during COVID. So there was, again, I remember a lot of uncertainty during COVID, similarly, where, creators were like, oh, what's going to happen here? And what ended up happening was brands realized like, wow, we cannot do normal production shoots. Right? We can't like social distancing, all that. But you know what we can do? There's all these people sitting at home who have these awesome, all this professional camera equipment. They're great on camera. Let's actually devote our budget over to them instead. So I think that you're going to see a similar kind of fire drill exercise where brands are going to be looking at every line item on their, on their operating expenses and thinking, okay, either what can we eliminate or how can we repurpose this budget, or how can we reallocate this budget in a way that makes sense to still get us the content that we need? Brands can't stop advertising. That's not an option for them, but they do need to change the way that they're thinking about it. Right? So this is the first thing, is like, you can't just keep going on business as usual. You need to like be reverent to what's going on in the larger kind of macroeconomic sphere. Okay. The second thing I want to talk about is why targeting recession-resistant sectors might be interesting right now. So why do I say this? So if you think about brands or companies like software as a service, right? Software companies, digital services, professional services, or even domestic manufacturers are likely going to be less affected by tariffs than companies who are heavily dependent on imports. And so this may actually be something that you choose to do. If you've got a list of brands that you're targeting, every week or every month or whatever, you may choose to prioritize brands and companies that, where, importing things globally or, internationally is not as big of an issue for them. And so what I would do is I would start to look at some of my audience data to see if I have a sense of like what industries, might be a better fit for now in terms of serving them. If you've only, focused on physical product businesses to date, now might be, the time to think, okay, well, what are the kind of software related, app related, if you're B2B, thinking about what would be relevant to my audience, that also would be receptive to my outreach, and less, have less uncertainty associated with the forecast of their business. Is this making sense? General Motors Jeff says, I'm a Canadian and live in the border to the USA. Tariffs will hurt me for products being sent to me. That's yeah. I mean, there's so many like cascading repercussions to these tariffs that I think just a lot of people don't really know about quite yet, which is why I decided to come on live stream and just start pontificating about what I think is going to happen. Again, I'm not an economist, I'm not an expert, but in my little corner of the universe, I've been through some of these cycles. We literally just started our social media platforms right after the housing crisis, the housing bubble in 2008, started the channels in 2009, obviously went through COVID. So I've seen a lot of kind of ups and downs being a creator for so long. Molly real quickly said, join the mastermind, hang out with Molly. New sales pitch, maybe? I think that's going to be a new sales pitch. It's gotta be. I'm really, really excited to talk about the mastermind in a little bit. So targeting recession-resistant sectors is the second point. Let's talk about why it's important to be mindful about what types of partnerships you do take to ensure that it doesn't feel tone deaf to your audience. So for example, if you have some psychographic information about your audience and you know that their household income is on the lower side, or you just have an anecdotal feel for the fact that, you're the type of people that you speak with are more budget conscious, they're looking for deals, that type of thing, probably wouldn't make sense to do a sponsorship for a brand that is really expensive, whether it's luxury purchases or things that are out of their price point, because you absolutely can run the risk of blowback to your audience, because they may not be, be losing their jobs, or they may, they may be closer to retirement, and their 401k has like been eviscerated because of the stock market and things like that. And so I just do think that it's important, especially in these types of times, to just be mindful when you are negotiating with a brand or when you're deciding who to pitch, to think, okay, like if I did a deal with this brand, is there any possibility that my audience is going to get mad at me that I do this if I don't do it in a tasteful way. Obviously, you can't prevent everything, right? There may be a vocal minority of people who come out there and be like, how dare you do this sponsorship? You're still fine and making money while all of us are losing our jobs out here. Like, of course, there's going to be a handful of people who still do that. But I do think that there is like a criteria or a kind of a check, a sanity check that you need to do to ensure that it's not like this overwhelming negative response that your audience has when you do a sponsorship. Is this resonating with anyone? General Motors Jeff says, great idea in regards to non-tangible products for those who can promote them. Yeah. So again, you got to like start thinking creatively here in times of uncertainty. Okay. All right. A couple more points I want to chat through today about will tariffs crush brand deal flow? This is the time now to start thinking about how you can lock in longer term deals as soon as possible. If this was me, and this is something I'm actively looking to do as well, is looking to secure 3, 6, 12-month partnerships before budgets potentially tighten. And when you're talking with these brands, maybe it's a partner that you've been working with before, you have a relationship with them, but maybe you've just done a few kind of one-offs with them. Come to them and emphasize kind of the value of consistency and how you can provide regular deliverables to them that help them maintain their presence without unpredictable costs. So maybe this means, normally I don't advocate for this, like, oh, I'm going to give you a huge price concession if you agree to a 12-month deal with me. But you may want to start thinking about what types of deals would you feel comfortable striking if you were able to secure income certainty for the next 9 to 12 months or something like that, right? And so I do think that, again, like the creators that can be super nimble and reach out to the brands like right now, today, not going to wait and to see what happens with the market fluctuations and whether it's going to rebound or whatever it is. Like brands they're scrambling right now to kind of figure out what the plan is for the rest of the year as best as they can. And so if you come into they're not going to be reaching out to you with these ideas. They're not going to be like, oh, let's go like reach out to this person that we worked with like a year ago and see if they'd be interested in it. No, it's going to take you coming to them and all of a sudden they're going to be like, okay, this is perfect because we were just in our fire drill planning session right now, and we realized we got to rein in our costs on production for content or whatever. Oh, great. This is great. We have an email in our inbox from Justin. He's proposing to create content on autopilot for us for $3,000 a month. And we were paying $5,000 a month. Okay, this is great. Let's talk with Justin because we could save $2,000 a month there. Something like that. Is this making sense? Right. And so this is how important it is. Again, this piece of advice, by the way, is important, not just even in times of uncertainty. It's just this idea of like constantly being on top of mind for these brands, but especially right now, when they're in this kind of fire drill mode, trying to just reanalyze their whole plan, you coming in, kind of parachuting into their inbox, could be a game changer for them, a lifesaver, right? So definitely consider that. Another thing I want to talk about is how you adding. How do I phrase this? Adding more value through insights that you provide to the brand in terms of like audience feedback that you collect, competitive analysis potentially, maybe market research that you're doing in your audience, that can potentially be a deliverable. When you're interacting with these brands, especially right now, brands they desperately need intel during market shifts. And because you have a direct line to, potentially their ideal consumers, that something like that could be incredibly valuable, especially if you have a newsletter, for example, or you have other ways to kind of directly connect with your audience. The brand may not have that dynamic, currently existing where they would feel comfortable emailing their customer base or something, asking them, questions about what's going on in their lives and things like that. A lot of the psychographic research stuff that I advocate for, a lot of brands don't have that relationship, that intimate relationship with their customers that you might with your audience. And so if you could say that like, hey, as part of this partnership that we do together, I could do a survey on behalf of your brand to start learning like how consumers are making purchase decisions in times of uncertainty, right? And so a lot of the advice that I'm giving you, I hope it's like clear by now, is positioning you more as kind of like a consultant, not just a creator, right? You're not someone who just has a bunch of followers or who can just create content. You're actually helping them solve some pretty complex challenges that they, like, let's face it, like no one knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. The government doesn't seem like they know what's going to happen. Economists don't seem like they know what's going to happen. And so all you can provide is comfort, to these brands, to these companies, that will help them increase their certainty that the decisions that they make are sound, right? And so again, I think if you're a creator who is someone who's deriving income from sponsorships, a lot of these things like pivoting your positioning, targeting recession-resistant sectors like software companies and digital services and professional services, and maybe even domestic manufacturers, is just such a critical part of your portfolio when you're interacting with these brands. I want to take a moment here and just acknowledge a few people in the chat who have joined in since we started. Again, if you're just tuning in now, we're talking about will tariffs crush brand deal flow? We've got Cynthia Lule, Stanley Dirt Monkey, Moose Painting. What's up, Christian? Good to see you here. We've got Karen at this Mainer Mom, Dylan Poole. What's going on, Dylan? The Coral Reef Talk, Nick T. Jones, Sherman in. Good to see you here. We've got Sarah Dawn tuning in on YouTube. Delilah, good to see you here. We've got Derek's Lawn Rescue. Good to see you here. Mark Szymanski, good to see you here, Mark. So I know a lot of you are saying, I'm in Canada, I'm in different countries, like not sure how this is going to affect me. Look, like the other thing too, I think that's important to realize is like, what else can be affected during times of economic uncertainty? Well, if you're a YouTuber, AdSense can get affected. If we saw during the pandemic, it actually exploded because everyone was at home and they were watching YouTube and streaming and things like that. This is different, obviously, because it's not like a lockdown or anything. But what this might mean is that we see a erosion of ad revenue, when brands like buying pre-roll ads on YouTube. That's possible. It's possible that they may be reallocating their marketing budgets elsewhere to other, or they just might be holding on to cash more, right? They're trying to hold on to cash. They really don't know what's gonna happen. They don't know what's gonna happen with headcount. There's so many like things going on right now that are crazy, like including the AI explosion. I don't know if anyone saw this, but Toby, who's the CEO of Shopify, put out this memo to all his employees yesterday talking about how basically like they are going to be measuring all employees at Shopify, not just engineers. Part of their performance review is going to be how much they're utilizing AI. So like, and they also said, before you ask for additional headcount, like department managers or whatever, you have to make a justification of why the same task can't be accomplished with AI. So, I mean, things are changing really quickly. So this AI, coming tidal wave plus a lot of the uncertainty with the economy, like things are, kind of crazy right now. But that doesn't change the business fundamentals for a lot of these brands. It's not like they can just go into a corner, go into a cave and hide for 2 years. They can't do that. Their business will collapse, right? And so, yes, there's question marks about what's going to happen. But at the same time, if you can come in proactively with solutions to help them kind of, ameliorate some of these fears that they're having about the uncertainty with the economy, that is a very good thing. Is this resonating with anyone? Right? One Keelan Stewart, Travel More Coach, Adesh Saini. Is this resonating with anyone here? As a quick reminder, if you don't know who I am, my name is Justin Moore. I'm the founder of Creator Wizard. I'm a sponsorship coach. I help you find and negotiate brand partnerships, learn how to negotiate better, learn how to pitch brands. And if you're just tuning in here, we're talking about, will tariffs crush brand deal flow? So if you have any questions about this topic in particular, please drop it in the chat, because I am going to be doing a Q&A in a little bit. So I hope this was helpful. Like, I, just like anyone, I'm running a business. I have employees. I have a family. I have fears, right? There's things that I worry about, that I stay up late at night thinking about, in terms of like, what's going to happen? What does this mean? What does this mean for not just me, but what does this mean for, my family and all that? And rather than get fearful, the thing that I try to do is just run straight into it. I'm saying, okay, like, what can I do now to help position myself, my company, my family in the best position to not just survive, but thrive during this. The crazy part about COVID for my family, at least, and of course it was a serious blessing, was that COVID 2020 was one of our best years ever with sponsorships. I mean, we made I'm trying to remember how much we made, but it was the most we made ever. I think it was like close to $900,000 across like all the different revenue streams. I've shared this before. I don't talk a lot about like how much money I make personally, because I always want my focus to be on my students and my clients versus me. But like, I have shared this a few times that like, this was the best year ever, because brands were desperate to find places to spend this money. Yes, on the surface, it seems nerve-wracking. It seems scary, but don't be surprised. If there are opportunities, but you have to position them properly. Another thing that Stephanie said here in the chat is like, things are slowing down by the decision makers, so get ready to be patient. Yeah, that's another thing, is that things may take longer, which is why it's so important for you to get these conversations started now. Because if the sales cycle, if the conversation is going to take longer, you need to be prepared for that in your overall revenue forecasting for your business, right? If sponsorships is like a major way in which you make money. I mean, like one of the biggest things. So I ran an agency for 7 years, and so I had a bunch of full-time employees, and so a big part of like running a business is forecasting, right? And so what this means is that you have revenue coming in, right? Whether it's like ongoing contracts, one-off projects that you're doing, and then you have both fixed and variable expenses. So fixed expenses are like payroll, right? If you have like employees and you're paying them the same amount every month, or maybe you have software costs or something that are the same every month. So those are the fixed costs. And then you have variable costs. So this is things that you're paying for, whether it's travel to a conference or, advertising, marketing expenditures. Those are all things that can be probably variable from month to month. And so you better believe this is what's happening right now, is these brands are going and they are looking at the plan, that the forecast that they've made for the rest of the year, especially if it's a physical product business that has, they buy, inventory from overseas and they have to ship it here, dealing with all the tariff craziness right now. Their supply chain is being massively disrupted right now. And so do you think a brand, like a lot of brands who have physical product businesses, they may not want to pay you a bunch of money to be like, hey, go into the Walmart and buy this product if there's any uncertainty about whether that product will even be on the shelf because of the supply chain disruption, right? And so this is why I say it's like, again, this is just a theory. Like it could be that certain retailers have inventory for 18 months, and it's more like it would be 12 to 18 months until something like this hits. But again, it's probably going to be different for every brand in terms of their turnover. It's called inventory turnover. But again, like these are not things you're going to know until you reach out and start a conversation, right? And so again, it pays to be in advance, to be ahead of this type of stuff, so you can start the conversation. So even if you reach out to the brand and they say, hey, things are kind of crazy right now, we don't really know if we're going to be like working with creators or influencers or whatever. Just the fact that you reached out and put that on their radar in this little place of their brain, it may be a month. It may be 6 weeks, it may be 8 weeks or whatever, but when they're finally ready and they're doing the marketing kind of reanalysis of the forecast, that little thing in their brain that reminded them, oh yeah, Justin reached out, 6 weeks ago or whatever, this is great, let me reach back out to him. In fact, we would like to proceed with this. So I talk a lot about, if you have read my book, sponsor magnet, you know that I talk about this a lot, which is that, the point of a pitch is not to get the deal right away, because in all likelihood, it's very, very unlikely that the brand is in like an active recruitment phase trying to find creators to collaborate with. Very unlikely. No, the point is that you're now on their radar and you enter them into your nurture sequence so that in, another 4 weeks and another 6 weeks, you follow up, you provide more value. You don't just say, hey, do you have anything for me now? How about now? No, that's annoying. You don't do that. You continue to provide them value. Maybe it's an article with how another brand in a similar category or in their industry is navigating this times of uncertainty or whatever. You're continuing to provide value so that they know when they are ready to invest in, influencer marketing, content marketing, whatever it is, you're top of mind. Okay. Is this helpful? I hope this is helpful. Travel More Coach said, yes, totally. So I think this is helpful. Just one more project tuning in, being Corey, Kelly's Chronicle tuning in on Instagram. Good to see you here. Sarah Dawn says, yeah, sadly, there's now big delays at customs if you're sending a package to the US. Yeah, there's just so many like cascading consequences to this type of stuff. But glad that we were able to kind of chat through some of this stuff today. So, okay, so I did want to, before we get into Q&A, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the experience at Sponsor Games. So if you're just tuning in now, Sponsor Games is my in-person event that I held about 3 weeks ago in San Antonio, Texas. And when I say, this is going to sound so cheesy, but it truly was one of the best weeks of my entire life. Short of, getting married and having my kids and all that. I can't remember a time where I had that much fun. I laughed that hard. I felt as though so many moments, I felt as though I was like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Not only did I feel so excited to be able to interact with people in person that I've known kind of virtually for so long, but I just had this really tremendous feeling that like, this is it. This is my superpower, that I am able to like, number one, have the cojones to put an event on like this. I will see. Here's the thing. Like I kind of lost money. I basically broke even, but I lost money. Not a ton of money, but like, there were some like additional costs that came up after the event that I forgot to plan for. But, even though I like basically lost money, it was still 100% worth it to me. It was like, I actually did a podcast with my friend Jay Klaus. I think it released last week, about some of kind of the learnings from the event. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go check out his podcast, Creator Science, because we did an episode about that. But like, it's going to be so much easier in subsequent years to launch this event because we have like a hype video from the first year of, like everyone there and experiencing it and having fun and like, oh, this was so great. I can't wait to come back next year. So we didn't have that right in the first year. And so it was like kind of hard to tell the story of like, I basically was like, hey, everyone, trust me, it's going to be great. So I like was leaning on my own credibility. Like a non-trivial amount of money that people were going to have to, spend to actually buy the ticket to the event, fly out there, accommodations, all that. And so, now that we have that, for year one, that's going to be huge. I've got a bunch of testimonials from people who attended, that are glowing. I've got, sponsor testimonials from the sponsors that attended. And so I just think it's going to be so much easier to kind of tell the story and show the story. Got some amazing outcomes for people. Really, at the end of the day, I wanted to prove out, like, I feel like this event should exist. And like, frankly, we're all creators here. We're all building businesses here. So you can appreciate this. It was kind of like a brand building thing for me too, right? Like when people look at me now, it's like, oh, that's the guy who he has an event. Somehow you're I think, so two things. It's like, oh, that's the guy that wrote the book about that. And that's the guy who has the event about that thing, about sponsorships. So I feel as though you carve out a different place in people's minds when you do something like that, when you take a big swing like that, because most people don't take big swings. Most people aren't willing to lose money on something like this because of fear, scarcity mindset view. They can't swing it financially, just a bunch of different reasons. And first of all, I had all those fears, but I still pushed through and I did it because it's something that I believed in so much. And so I guess the reason why I wanted to kind of share a bit about my experience launching the event is that if any of you are out there listening and you're building businesses and thinking that maybe one day I want, to have an event like that, or have an event for my own niche, my own business, man, if you can do it, I say 100% go for it. Especially as we were talking about, sorry, I'm getting hot. Especially in the age of kind of this coming AI tidal wave. Real quickly, Molly in the chat says, it was seriously so fun. So many new friends. I'm so thrilled to hear that, Molly. And Molly's not just saying that because she was the grand prize winner. She truly, she was like, you were just such a breath of fresh air to have at the event, Molly. So it was so awesome to have you there. So yeah, especially in this coming kind of wave of AI, I think about, look, I have an education business, right? Like the product that I sell is knowledge. And in a world where everyone has a personal tutor in their pocket, right? With ChatGPT, with Claude, with Perplexity, whatever it is, if I am sitting on my hands and hoping that nothing changes and hoping that people still sign up for my course and all that, if I'm thinking that things are going to be the way it was 5 years ago, I'm going to be in for a world of hurt. And frankly, I really probably won't have a business in a year, 2 years, maybe not that long. Right. Because look, at the end of the day, everyone wants advice and expertise that is as customized to them as possible. Right. And so this is why I'm so bullish on in-person experiences, because you really can't replace that. There's just something different when you break bread with people, when you interact with them, when you kind of have this live environment. It was really kind of like a coaching experience for a couple days. In fact, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I wanted to pull up some of the photos from the event because, oh my God, they were just crazy. Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull it up real quickly because I just wanted to show you guys how amazing and special it was. All right, let's see. Okay. By the way, Molly and anyone here who was at the event, these photos are coming out tomorrow. We just got them. Okay. Here we go. So we had this like amazing welcome party at this restaurant called One Watson. And so we absolutely like balled out on food, guys. Like we really did. This was, remember when I mentioned that we had like some unexpected expenses. So like they were related to food. And so this is Bianca on my team. This is Sarah, our amazing event planner. We had all of our sponsor game partners. So these are the sponsors that we had for the event. We had Paperform, Lulu, Level Up Creators Kit, Bit Defender, Sure, Topo Chico, Blobs, One Watson, and Low and Slow. So that was super, super cool. The food was amazing. Joe, who's a sponsorship coach on my team, was there. This is my beautiful wife, April. These are the badges. I'll have to do a whole nother thing talking about how we planned out all the teams and the, colors of the lanyards and all that. There's my beautiful wife. Man, we just like picked such a beautiful spot, for the event. There's Bianca and Sarah. There we go. Bianca, I think, is in the chat right now. We had videographer. This is Daryl. Daryl is my coach. And that was just so cool of Daryl to come. Daryl's based in Minneapolis here with me. And so he came down. So that was super cool. One thing that I did, I don't know if you can tell here, but like in the lower corner of everyone's badge, on the back of everyone's badge, I made a personalized video for every single person that came to the event. So that was crazy. And it wasn't just like, hey, thanks for coming. It was like, hey, I read your survey, your registration survey, where you talked about some of your fears and hesitations and biggest goals for the event. I even audited some people's platforms and said like, hey, here's some suggestions, some changes that I think you could make to get more brand deals. And so these were like 5 to 10 minute videos for every single attendee. So that was like I just really wanted to like blow people's socks off with these types of things for the event. So we had an amazing time. This is a spree. So I gave free books out to everyone. It was just so much fun. So let me show you. I want to get down to like day 2. The drinks were bussin'. Let's put it that way. Oh man, we have so many pictures. Okay, so here's day 1. Okay, so this is what the swag was. Oops. Oh no, I lost it. This is what the swag was for everyone that attended. So they got these cool limited edition hats that said perpetuity with a cross through it, right? We don't agree to perpetuity here. They got this cool notebook. They got a free book. They got a bunch of like chips and Topo Chico and all this stuff from our sponsors, which was super cool. Paper form. We even had a barista who was laser printing the Sponsor Games logo onto all the coffee, which was so dope, as you could see here, like on top of the foam, which was so cool. We had, I got my, if you know my sponsorship wheel, I got my sponsorship wheel printed. I was trying to find a better photo. So you could see here, I got a big blow up of our sponsorship wheel that we had on stage, which was super cool. Paul, you've probably heard me talk about Paul quite a few times. So Paul is like one of my longest running coaching clients, and he shared kind of his experience of like working with me and with our company for the last couple of years and like how his business has transformed. That was super cool. Paul is like a really funny dude. So that was so fun to do that. And so the format of the event was like, I even got custom money printed with my face on it. Oh my God, it was so funny. And so we had just such an amazing time. This was like, you could kind of see that we got a custom printout on the coffee cart over there. What are some other highlights here? We got the books. Just to give you a sense of like what the vibes were, but it was so much fun. So we did 8 games. So, each of the 8 games corresponded with the 8 steps of my sponsorship wheel. And so I taught a part of the concept at the beginning of the game. And then we broke out into groups. So that's why everyone was broken out into these various colored groups. And then there was a quiz at the end. So if you've ever heard of something called Kahoot, you basically had to answer 10 questions. And depending on if you got the answer right and how quickly you answered the question, that determined the winner of that game. And the winner of each game got to come up and shoot the money gun on the stage. And so it was like such a fun moment that everyone wanted to win because they wanted to come up and shoot the money gun. So it was just so much fun. That turned in. This is Megan. She was one of the winners of the games. And so it was so much fun. We had amazing food. Let's see here. What else? So, this is one of the exercises is, we had contracts. We had real sponsorship contracts that you had to go through and redline. You had to talk with your team and figure out, okay, what should we change? What should we go back to the brand and ask for revisions, payment terms, this type of thing. It was really fun. We had, I wanted to show, we actually got a step and repeat, which is like this big banner here. So these are the things that we invested in that a lot of people don't in their first year event, but because we're planning on having this event every year, I invested in a lot of these types of things to just like really up the caliber of the quality of the event. So this is RJ from Paperform, which is one of our sponsors, and Doc Williams and Sarah, my event planner. One thing I wanted to show was, let's see here. I wanted to show something that we did like in the different chairs. There's Joe. This was so funny. So one of the games was the produce game. And one of the exercise was you had to shoot a piece of sponsored content, a video with your teammates for a random object that I gave you. I gave you a brief, I gave you the object, and I said, okay, you have 60 minutes or like an hour to shoot a video. And then we're all going to watch the videos. And it was absolutely hilarious. It was so much fun. One thing I wanted to show here was that so I brought people onto the stage and gave them real-time role play negotiation feedback. So I pretended I was the brand, and they came up, and then we were having like a negotiation real time on stage, and it was so much fun. It was so wonderful. And then I'll fast forward to the last day just so you can kind of get a sense. But like we got the 8 finalists who competed. These were the 8 finalists. And we had this like really special thing where we shot off these confetti cannons, and they all advanced to the sponsor tank at the end. And it was super, super special. And then the final day, we also had a paleta cart, guys. We had a popsicle guy. Like it was so sick. And then what did I want to show you? I wanted to show you, this was the VIP dinner. We had a VIP dinner for all the finalists. And this was like so special. I don't know if you have seen this video, but my team made me this surprise video. Like people had filmed these kind of like testimonials of like how I've impacted their lives and their businesses. I had no idea that they were doing this, completely no idea. It was like a shock to me. And Sarah and my team prepared this video, and like, I was legitimately crying. I was so touched. Like, I was sitting with April watching it this is like one of my favorite photos. It was just like, oh, it was so special. It was so special. And so that was super cool. I should do a YouTube video where I talk more about this, but, I bought a surprise cake for my wife because she just turned 40 yesterday, actually. So wanted to acknowledge her, as well. So this was really fun. And then these are all the attendees. This is our group photo. I'm having so much fun, like reliving this. And then this was the cool part is, on the final day, the 8 finalists had to do a pitch in front of a panel of our sponsors. So this is Matt from Lulu. This is RJ from Paperform. This is Amanda from Level Up Creators. And this is me. These were our panel of judges. And basically the 8 finalists had to do a pitch, and they got scored. And that was what ultimately determined who won the grand prize, which is Molly. Here's Molly, and she was the grand prize winner. And I want to find look at, here we go. Here's Molly as the grand prize winner, holding up a giant check. Like, is this not the best photo ever? So this is what I'm talking about, is like now maybe it's like a little bit more obvious, what this event is going to be like for people that want to attend in the future. But Molly says the food. Yes, the food. Molly says, I can't wait to see the gallery. Yeah, it was truly like a life-changing experience. So I'm very, very excited for subsequent, years of this event. And again, like we have 500 gigabytes of footage, 5,000 photos that our photographer took. And so this is all stuff that we can use for content also for the rest of the year, for infinity, basically. So that's really exciting to me. So just like a lot of things going on. And then the very thing I did on the very final day, which is, something I mentioned earlier in the live stream that I wanted to get back to, is I launched my mastermind at the event. And so the coolest part about it is, so first of all, for like years and years, I have wanted to have a mastermind because I have always wanted to be first of all, being a part of a mastermind myself really changed my business. So about 3 years ago, I joined a mastermind, and it cost $10,000. It was the most amount I'd ever spent on anything in my entire life by far. And I was like, I wanted to puke when I like paid that on my credit card. But very shortly after joining, one thing that one person, one of my mentors told me in that mastermind literally transformed my business overnight. I was, at that time I was doing live cohorts of my course, and my most recent cohort had 16 people in it. And based on one thing that one of my mentors said, I went from 16 enrollments at $2,000 a piece to 42 the next cohort. So it was literally like a $50,000 increase in my business overnight from something that my mentor said. So I basically 5X'd my investment immediately. And so I really saw the value of being a part of masterminds like that, where you're showing up, you have accountability, you're in a room with people who are also trying to achieve a similar goal. And so I was so excited to launch my mastermind at the event because I revealed that the grand prize winner gets one of the seats. And so I was really excited to share that. And so of course, Molly is the person who won. And I did want to take a few moments here to talk about the mastermind, especially because enrollment ends on Friday. So if you're on my newsletter, you've probably seen some emails going out about this, but I did want to take an opportunity here to just kind of chat through it real quickly. So if you're someone who wants to, actually you're interested in this, you can go to creatorwizard.com/mastermind, and maybe Bianca will drop it in the chat. And I'm going to share my screen here to kind of share just some quick elements of what the mastermind entails. So first and foremost, I have a live Q&A call that I'm doing over Zoom tomorrow. And I think there's like 2 seats left, maybe, or maybe 3 seats left. I'm not sure. So if you're interested in this, go to creatorwizard.com/mastermind and click this link here and grab a seat in that call if you're interested in this. Okay, so let me quickly share about what the point of this mastermind is. So if you are a creator who wants to explode your sponsorship revenue for the rest of the year, I'm launching this mastermind that's going to run from April 16th roughly to the middle of December. And it's going to be basically an 8-month long mastermind. And here's what it entails. So there's going to be twice monthly group strategy sessions directly with me, where we're going to meet virtually, and we basically are going to like workshop your business. We're going to, give you personalized feedback on your pitches, on your negotiations, help you work through like real-time negotiation challenges. And again, these are like recorded if you can't attend those live. So basically like a more regular cadence of meeting live with me and other peers who are working on, sponsorships in their business every single month. So I'm so excited about that piece. The other, another component of this program is that you'll get 2 one-on-one calls with me. And so you may or may not have noticed, but I no longer do one-on-one calls. I did these for years, but I have kind of dialed back these to focus on other aspects of my business, namely writing the book, launching the event, et cetera. And so I no longer do one-on-one calls, but basically you will be getting access to at any point during the 8 months. You can book a one-on-one call with me for ongoing deals that you're working on. Kind of a cool thing that I announced at Sponsor Games about this is that I will be willing to get on a phone call with a brand or an agency with you if you would like. Like instead of these one-on-one calls, if you want me to be there as your advocate on a call with a brand to kind of ask questions and kind of be in your corner, and you can introduce me as like someone on your team, you can use the 2 one-on-one calls for that as well. So I'm so excited about that piece of it. There's going to be a private group deal chat. So if there's any time-sensitive opportunities that come up in between the twice monthly group sessions, there's going to be a private thread that we can work together, basically to do like kind of text or voice notes Monday through Friday during business hours to help you, workshop that opportunity. And very excited about this. And I'm going to be doing a 1-day intensive retreat in Minneapolis later this year. So basically you, as well as all your other fellow mastermind members, are going to come together. We're going to do an intensive down in downtown Minneapolis, and we're just going to be a dinner. I'm really excited about that. It's going to be great. Finally, you're going to get a complimentary ticket to Sponsor Games 2026. So the investment real quickly, if you're interested in this, you can read more about it at creatorwizard.com/mastermind. It's pretty straightforward what the investment's going to be. And this is of everything that I've ever launched over the last like 5 years, this is the thing that I'm the most excited about. So yeah, just wanted to quickly share this because again, registration closes on Friday at midnight. So if you're interested, creatorwizard.com/mastermind. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to take a swig and we'll dive into Q&A. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pull up Instagram over here. Let's see here. We got Cast Ahead. We got Chris saying giant checks are the best. Let's go. Giant checks are the best. That's what I'm saying. Molly says, I'm so excited for the mastermind. I was planning to join anyway. The value is literally insane. Well, let's go, Molly. Well, you had extra motivation to be the grand prize winner then, I guess, right? How dope is that? Congratulations. Seriously, that's so, so cool. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. We've got Mr. Fred's DIY Garage School. Hello from Los Angeles. Sorry I'm late. No worries at all. Yeah, Derek's Lawn Rescue says Paul is a great guy, and I buy his books when he releases them. Yeah, Paul is great. He's amazing. He's like a soundbite machine. I didn't even mention this, but Molly, who's on the IG live right now, also shared her story on the second day or the third day, and it was amazing. I'm so appreciative of you, Molly. That was super, super cool. I had several people actually talk to me about this, that they really appreciated hearing other people's stories because they saw themselves in that story. They're like, I really don't know if like I could ever achieve what that person has achieved, or I don't ever know if I can if my business can ever be in the place that person's business is at. And hearing Paul's story and hearing Molly's story, like several people told me, like that was so inspirational to me, because I was like, wow, like that's like his origin story or her origin story is where I am at right now. And so thinking that I could get there, to where they're at, was like super inspirational. And so I'm just so glad that I gave you the opportunity to speak, Molly. So I appreciate you. All right, let's see. Oh man. Yeah, we've got Jen Lauren tuning in on IG. It's Ryan to Edwin Eats, Envision with Justin. Oh, Envision with Justin was at Sponsor Games as well. Good to see you here. So if you're just tuning in now, the subject of today's live stream was, will tariffs crush brand deal flow? And we talked about it at the beginning of this live stream. So if you do want to kind of hear what we were talking about how you can plan in your own business, make sure there's going to be a replay on YouTube, probably within an hour or so you can go back and watch the replay on YouTube. We've got John Pajak tuning in saying, hey Justin, what's up? Molly says, grateful for it and you. I love to give a speech. You definitely love to give a speech. Absolutely. Let's see here. Delilah says, it was a friend of mine. I sent it to. He's interested. I'll let him know. Oh, I see. Okay, you're talking about the mastermind link. Awesome. Okay, so what questions do we have here about sponsorships, brand deals? I'm going to scroll back up here to see if I missed anything. Oh, I see Jason Vaughn in here. I'm late, but I made it. Good to see you here, Jason. Let's see here. Some more tariff conversation, I think, here. Let's see. Man, y'all, we just got back. I think I mentioned that we just got back from the Cayman Islands last week. And, so we were looking for a place to go with our family that was basically nonstop. I wanted a nonstop flight to somewhere warm during spring break, because it's been chilly here in Minneapolis. And holy cow, I think it's probably my favorite Caribbean island now. Every single place that we ate was like 10 out of 10. And I'm not like, we are foodies. Like we love food. That's like our thing. And I swear to you, everything we ate was like 10 out of 10. So if you like food, I'll be honest, it was expensive for sure. Like the food there is like, Cayman Islands has this reputation of like, that's where everyone like stores their money or whatever. And so like, I could definitely see that, because they had like a ton of really nice restaurants there. And so it was expensive, but like it's so worth it. Like I was telling my wife that like we did stay in a hotel this time, but like if we go back, I want to like rent a house, rent a car, like it'll be more cost effective, and we could just like, cook on our own and all that. And just explore the island. Like we went to explore these like caves, and they have like a turtle sanctuary there. Like it was just so fun. And the weather was like the beaches and the water was so clear. Man, I was like, it was wild. And I took my kids jet skiing, which was so fun. So it was just like it was a really, really nice, and I got to give a huge hearty shout out to Bianca on my team, because she really held down the fort while I was gone. I can't think of, a time that I've gone on vacation in the last like decade where I've like truly checked out. You could probably appreciate this if anyone runs their own business or you've been a full-time creator, whatever. You can never really fully take your eye off the ball, because you kind of always have to, keep your eye on how things are going, make sure there's no fires, like this type of thing. And I truly feel like I actually relaxed on this trip. And so I can't thank you enough, Bianca. Like truly, that was so kind of you to man the fort, to woman the fort. I didn't mean that. John says, dude, you're in Minnesota? I'm headed there in May. Dude, that is so awesome, man. John said, maybe I can drag Paul and Naylor up there with me. Dude, well, you know what? I've been chatting with Paul. He might join the mastermind. And obviously Paul and Naylor were at sponsor games. So yeah, man, I mean, you guys should just all join the mastermind, and then you guys can all come together. It'd be dope. Let's go. K&J Lumber says, no way. You're in Minneapolis. We are 1.5 hours north of you. So 1.5 hours north of me. What does that mean? That's like, I still am getting my bearings on geography. I think that's not Duluth. Duluth is like 3 hours, right? So I'm not sure what that would tell me. Maybe like closer. I don't know my geography quite yet. We've got Julia Christine Home tuning in on Instagram. Good to see you here. Tony Locke, good to see you as well on YouTube. Tony says, Justin, I'm still reading your book. This is a great community. Appreciate you, Tony. Thank you so much for picking up a copy of the book. Edwin says, taking care, heading out. Of course, good to see you here, Edwin. And by the way, oh God, guys, I did not even have my banner. I didn't have my banner on the entire time. What is wrong with me? This is why I didn't have my sponsor magnet banner on there. Holy cow. Actually, you know what? That's not the banner I need to have. Bianca, I should have had my banner for the mastermind. What's wrong with me? Wizards Mastermind ends April 11th. Why didn't I do this? creatorwizard.com/mastermind. Dude, what a uber fail on my end. That was terrible. There we go. I'm going to put it up there. Wizard Mastermind. Yeah. So creatorwizard.com/mastermind. If you want to learn more, I have that live call that's happening tomorrow. Yeah, I need to do a mastermind banner. What's up? It's funny. Delilah says in the chat here, we were just going to Minneapolis for the Mall of America, but Justin and April are a better reason. Well, you know what? We were at the Mall of America yesterday. For my wife's birthday. We were like going to lunch at this place called Asia Mall, which is like an awesome mall. They have like a great Vietnamese restaurant there, a bunch of restaurants there. But we were like, what do you want to do today for your birthday? And she's like, let's go to the mall and walk around. So we were at the mall yesterday. It's funny. For those of you who don't know what the Mall of America is, it's the largest mall in the United States. They have a theme park, roller coasters inside the mall. That's how large it is. So K&J Lumber says, oh, by the way, still patiently waiting for the audiobook. Yes, audiobook is coming. It's going to be a couple months probably. I am working on locking in a producer to record the audiobook at a studio here in town. So TBD, it's coming. Don't worry. Julia Christine Holmes says, are you hosting a conference in Minnesota? So yes, I am hosting a 1-day intensive for my mastermind in the fall in Minnesota. So like in Minneapolis. And so you can go to the URL that I have here on the screen, which is just creatorwizard.com/mastermind. This is just one aspect of the mastermind, is this 1-day intensive. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. Let's see. We've got Bianca says, wow, this is the most American thing I've ever heard, having a theme park in a mall. Is that what you're talking about, Bianca? I imagine it is. We've got School Side Design. We've got There's Something About Perry, Raquel 3RRR. We've got Muay Thai Jody tuning in here as well. Good to see you here on Instagram. So again, for those of you who are just tuning in now, if you want, if I snagged you with my title about will tariffs crush brand deals, right after I end this live stream here in a moment, you can go back and watch the replay on YouTube because we talked about it towards the beginning of the stream. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging with me today. Again, if you want to be on that live call, I don't know if anyone's like grabbed those final spaces for the live call. Make sure to go to creatorwizard.com/mastermind and you can learn more, and hope you have a wonderful